Alrighty guys, welcome back to the AirsCloud YouTube channel. My name is Erm Herrera and today we are going to be talking about photography. Okay, my absolute favorite thing in the world, guys. Finally, I'm making a video about it. Okay, so in this one we're going to be talking about how you can actually totally step up your pictures, whether it be with the iPhone, Android, or DSLRs. Okay. This is a fundamental aspect to photography that everybody should be implementing in their photos. And the reason why is nowadays it is more important than ever to distinguish ourselves online. Okay, and if we're taking stinky little rinky-dinky pictures that no one is paying any attention to, then, we're not going to be able to leverage the internet the best that we could in order to distinguish ourselves from everybody else. Okay, so that's why I wanted to make this video. I believe that it falls within the life building, wealth building, brand building criteria of AirsCloud. So that being said, we will just kind of jump right into it. Okay. So what is the most important aspect to photography? What is one thing we can be implementing in our photos right now? And that one thing, my friends, is depth. Okay, depth. Okay, depth is the most important thing that we should be implementing into all of our photos. Okay, now depth is one aspect, and why is depth so important? Okay, and I have been preaching this from the rooftops for years. Depth is the most important aspect to photography because depth is what will captivate an audience, and depth is what helps your image to tell a story. Okay, when there's depth in an image, you can look into it, right? There's a deeper image to look into. It's not flat. When it's flat, then it's flat and there's nothing to look at. So if there's nothing to look at, then you just keep scrolling past it, right? But if you have depth in your image, then people say, okay, well, hold on. Let's take a closer look at this. What is this, right? How can we look deeper into this? Okay, so that is why depth is so important. And depth kind of goes hand in hand with perspective. And perspective is the other aspect to photography that is so simple that can drastically change your images. Okay, so depth is kind of an easy solution. If you just want the quick and easy, if you put portrait mode on your iPhone or live focus mode on your Android, then you have an automatic depth effect. Okay, so obviously it's called portrait mode, guys. I probably use portrait mode for 99% of my pictures. Okay, and the reason I do that is because it always creates an awesome depth effect. Okay, so that is one little secret key, right? So you can always do that. Now, the other thing you can do when it comes to shifting perspective is you can take 2 seconds before you take your picture and think, okay, how can I add depth to this picture? And that should be the number one thing you always think of when you're taking a picture, right? Is what story am I telling with this picture? What can people look into in this picture? And guys, this is mostly for people who are trying to leverage photography and or videography to maybe help build their business, right? Because that's what this channel is kind of catered towards, right? If you just want to go out and take pictures of whatever, guys, I'm not saying you can't do that, guys. Go out, take pictures, enjoy, get into a flow state. But if you want your pictures to tell a story and be more captivating, then a simple shift in perspective and a simple addition of depth will help your pictures to stand out greatly. Okay, so now we're going to do a fun little exercise, right? And you don't have to participate, don't worry, it's just me. I'm doing the exercise for you, okay? So if we take our camera here and we take a picture of a remote, okay? If we take a picture of a remote on a flat table, okay, I'm just going to take this picture, and I'll put up the screen recording on the side so you can actually watch with me, okay? So we're going to take this picture of this remote, okay? Not super interesting. Now, we are going to change our frame of mindset and think, okay, how can we add depth to this image? What perspective shift can we take to actually make a better image? Okay, or one that tells a story. So here we go. We're shifting perspective. My voice might get a little more quiet here because I'm shifting perspective. Okay. Boom. So these are the two images, and I'll put them up on the screen side by side so you can actually see them. But this is a huge, massive, tremendous difference. Okay, this is one that you probably wouldn't post. This is one you probably would. Okay, so these, I mean, guys, it's as simple as that. Took 2 seconds. I mean, maybe 5 seconds on the video. You can go back and check, but in real time, probably only takes about 2 seconds. Okay, so that is one cool exercise, and now I'm just going to kind of show you a couple of examples of some perspective shifts and depth additions that I made earlier for your viewing pleasure. It's of my little doggies, so please enjoy. Alrighty guys, so here is the little exercise that I carried out with the little doggies earlier, just showing you how easy it is to actually take a flat image and take a image that has depth. Okay, now the beauty of portrait mode, guys, I know this is a little known secret. I'm actually amazed that not more people know about this, but here I am sharing it with you. Okay, so here is just a standard image of Tyrion. Okay, so this is in just the regular photo mode, as most people would do. Okay, so I took the picture of him, and then I switched it over to portrait, as you can see. And we get in, and boom, right there, portrait mode goes to work, and it actually blurs out the entire background. Okay, now why is this helpful? I mean, visually, clearly, it's better than this image here, where it's just a lot more cluttered. There's a lot more noise in the back. Now the portrait mode helps and to actually focus on the subject, okay, and it helps to make them stand out. And that's the beauty of portrait mode. Okay, so here's another example with Sansa. Okay, so here she is being all dominant, even though she's just a little baby. And this, so I mean, still, you can see there's still kind of a bunch of stuff going on in the back. You've got the little table, you got the stairs, you got the antlers up there. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Now, when we shift it over to portrait, this helps as she sits down like a little human to actually blur the rest of the background and put more focus on the subject. Okay, now this will help to cut out the noise in the back and actually get people to stop and look at your images. Okay, guys, this is huge. This is just a super easy, super simple thing you can do. Okay, let me see if I can actually find those pictures so you can see them side by side. Okay, so here is the one of Sansa, that there is no depth at all in the picture, and this is the one with the depth effect. Okay, portrait mode, no portrait mode. Portrait mode, no portrait mode. Okay, now let's look at the one of Tyrion. If I can find it, I don't know. I don't know where his picture is. I had to take a bunch of them to get him to stay still. Okay, now here is another example of a perspective shift. Okay, so this is the other aspect of photography that I was talking about. So this image here of Tyrion is flat. Okay, you just have flat Tyrion on a flat carpet and a standing two-legged creature in the corner. Okay, now when you actually stop for 2 seconds and you shift your perspective with portrait mode, you can take something like this. Okay, so here's Tyrion, right? He looks a lot more natural. It's just a much better picture of Tyrion. Okay, so you have flat image, and this is something that you might see on your Instagram, right? You might see people posting something like that, and you're like, okay, well, there's a little dog, and Tyrion's not the most handsome guy in the world, but you can do him a little more justice if you take an image that is more purposeful. Okay, so here you got more perspective. There is a slight depth effect as well on the image, so it just helps Tyrion to really stand out and look a lot more handsome. Okay, so that's one example of that. Now, another one that I did is this little rattlesnake picture. Okay, so this is one of the refined nature tables with a little rattlesnake on it. I don't know why he's there, but he's there. Okay, so this is a picture that somebody might just take in passing, right? You're like, oh wow, look at that cool table, and look at the little rattlesnake. Bam, look, there's that cool picture. Okay, I mean, it's not a horrible picture, but again, it's kind of flat. Now, this is a great example because if you just take those 2 seconds, shift your perspective to incorporate more depth in the picture, you can take something like this. Okay, so this brings us a little bit closer. We are able to actually focus on the rattlesnake with the depth effect here. And as you can see, I mean, it does a great job capturing the subject, and the blur, I mean, and just the angle, right? So putting the camera on the table as opposed to above the table like this, you can actually get a better picture of the subject, which in this case was the rattlesnake. Okay, so those are just a couple of examples. I tried to get a couple more with Sansa. I mean, look at this dog. Isn't she amazing? She's a great dog. And so is little Tyrion. He's a great little guy. He's a scared little guy. Stoic. Okay, so guys, those are just a couple of examples of how you can actually just step up your pictures very simply. I mean, it's really a simple premise, okay? Shift your perspective, aim for depth, okay? Alrighty guys, I hope that you enjoyed that little exercise with Tyrion and Sansa. If you found any bit of value from that or entertainment, guys, please consider subscribing below. Greatly helps out the channel, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Okay, so the 2 key takeaways I want you to take from this video are, number 1, how can I add more depth to the picture? And number 2, how can I shift my perspective to add more depth into the picture? Okay, so if you want to up your photography game, if you want to up your iPhone/Android photography skills, guys, consider implementing these practices in your images, and I promise you, they will always come out better, guys. I've been doing this for years, and I've been preaching it from the rooftops to people. This is what you must do to actually take better pictures with your iPhone. Okay, it doesn't have to be super complicated, guys. Try portrait mode, try live focus mode, shift your perspective, add depth. Guys, those are the big key takeaways from this video. Again, as always, I'm eternally grateful for your viewership and your attention, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. And guys, thank you so much for sticking around to this part of the video. If you are interested at all in my photography or any of my prints, guys, I do have an Airs Cloud photo dedicated website where you can actually go directly onto the website. You can look through the entire galleries of the different locations that I've been, and you can choose between a canvas, a paper print, or an acrylic print, and I will have that made for you directly. And if you are interested and you have not purchased something from there before, you can definitely use a first-time discount code AIRSCloud, and that will apply a 15% discount from your first order. Thanks, guys. Take care.